Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayamudirayet Vasudeve Bhavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitah Janayati Asu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayat Ahaitukam Shunvatam Sokata Krishna Punya Savana Kirtanaha Hridayantosto hi Abhadrani Vidunoti Susatam Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Parva Sarva Papa Vinashanam Pranama Dukkha Samanastam Namami Harim Param Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Last week we saw how Krishna, Balaram, and all the Gopas were enjoying the nature of various forests during the rainy season. And Krishna took his flute, Venu, and then started playing the flute. And as Krishna was playing his flute, that became more ecstatic for the boys around, for the birds, for animals, for the trees and other plants as well. And that is what has been explained in the 21st chapter of this Kanda, 10th Kanda, where we saw that how the gopis were, when they heard Krishna's pastimes and they heard Krishna's flute, they started talking to themselves, the girls, the gopis. And as gopis were talking and conversing, as we saw, it is one of the gopi was narrating and explaining how beautiful Krishna looks. And we saw a beautiful sloka. It is also called Venu Gita. Like how we have Bhagavad Gita, we all are familiar with Bhagavad Gita. Likewise, Bhagavatam has many, many Gitas. Brahmara Gita, Uddhava Gita, Venu Gita, like that, Gopi Gita, like that, many, many Gitas are there within Bhagavatam. They're all beautiful, beautiful songs. There are very experienced speakers. They sing these beautiful songs of Bhagavatam, very melodious. It's just so soothing to even hear those slokas from such professional, reciters, very nicely. So we saw that how Krishna was wearing a peacock feather ornament on his head, and he was having a blue karnikara flower on his ears as earrings, and he was wearing a garment which is yellow, golden yellow color, and he was wearing a Vaijayanti mala, the garland, and Krishna was dancing happily and walking into the forest. And his beauty was just captivating everyone. And as he was playing the flute, it further enhanced everyone's love for Krishna. Barha Pitam Natavara Vapuhu Karnaya Karnikaram Brihrit Bibrit Vasah Kanaka Kapisham Vaijayantim Chamalam. Randran Venu Adara Sudaya Purnayam Gopa Vrindir Vrindaranyam Swapada Ramanam Pravishat Gita Kirtihi. As Bhagavatam says, this particular sloka is very important because it is said Sukadev Goswami, who was, as you all know, son of Vyasadeva, and he did not come out of his mother's womb for quite some time, quite few years. And after he came out, he did not stay home. He just walked out. And Vyasadeva was running behind to bring his son Shukadev back, but then there was no luck. And after some period of time, when the disciples of Vyasadeva were walking into the forest while they're passing through some places, and they were singing this particular sloka that we just saw. Barga pitam natavara vapuhu karnayor karnikaram bibradvasa kanaka kapisham vaijayanti chamala randran venur adara sudaya purayan gopa vinde Randaranyam Swapataramanam Pravishadgitakirtihi. As they were singing this one sloka repeatedly and then walking through the forest, Sukadev Goswami was right there. When he heard this particular sloka, he was just full of tears. He couldn't control his emotions. He could just completely visualize the beauty of that Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, because this sloka explains the beauty of Krishna. Hmm? So he was just so captivated by this. So he was just captivated by this particular sloka that was sung by the sages. And he came running to them and they asked, what is this? What is this? Could you please tell me, who are you? And where did you get this sloka from? And then they said, well, we are all disciples. We learned this from Vyasadev. And then when he heard this one, then he wanted to learn more. And then he joined them. He told them to explain. And then he learned more about further on this particular Bhagavatam slokas. So therefore, the sloka is an important sloka. As the gopis were talking, these were the gopis conversing with each other. So the gopis were conversing, and then one gopi was saying that Akshmatam palamidam na puram vidama sakshas pushun anubhishayator vayasyahi. So the one gopi is telling, what is the use of our eyes if we cannot see the beauty of Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj? The eyes are so beautiful. Krishna's eyes are so beautiful, and our eyes will be blessed only if we see that boy of Nanda's son. So, especially when we see him playing the flute, that particular form of playing the flute, then there's no other great object of vision for our eyes than that particular pose where Krishna is standing playing flute. Right? And another gopi was saying that Krishna's flutes are so fortunate. You know, you've seen that Narayana with four-handed form: Shankar, Chakra, Gada, and Padma. What are the four things? The conch shell, right? The chakra, and then the lotus flower, and then the club, the Gada. That's what he carries. Now he carries Shankar and Chakra. Among these Shankar and Chakra, they speak, they say, there's a competition, who is best? And Chakra says that I am the best because I always go and kill all the enemies. The Lord uses me to kill all the enemies. But then more than Chakra, Shankar is very special. Guess why? Because Krishna takes the conch and places on his beautiful lips and blow the conch. We never see Krishna getting the chakra close to his lips and kissing the chakra. We never seen any picture where Krishna kissing the chakra, right? His lips touching the chakra. But then Krishna always touches and puts puts a conch on his lips. Therefore, Shankar is very special in that sense. Over here also the gopis are speaking that how fortunate these flutes are, which are touched by the bimba like lips of Krishna, and how fortunate the forefather of the flute. These are the mood in which the gopis are conversing with each other. So this is one gopi is saying that how fortunate the forefather of the flute. Who is the forefather of the flute? Nothing but the tree, the bamboo tree, right? And I'm sure the forefather of the bamboo trees are shedding tears of pleasure, seeing that their grandchildren, these flutes, are being kissed by Krishna's lotus mouth. And then another gopi is saying that, look at that peacock. It just become mad. Peacock become mad. How how it's dancing just by hearing Govinda's flute, right? It just usually the peacock will open their feathers and then just dance in certain ways like this and walk, moving around, especially those who are learning dance. There is a snake dance in Bharatanatyam, there is a peacock dance, right? Anyone is learning dance, right? So you'll all dance like peacock. They wear the peacock feather and they do like this, so like that. But then these peacocks were dancing like crazy. They're like crazy. They because of just hearing Krishna's flute, right? And then another gopi saying, hey, look at that deer. He's a foolish deer, but he's been blessed. And he's just jumping up and down just by hearing Krishna's flute. And another gopis is telling that demigods are traveling on the sky, right? The wives of demigods are also traveling with their husbands on an airplane, as an airplane, right? They have a different airplane, not our, American Airlines or any of these airlines, right? They have a special flight. Yeah.
Why are the deers foolish?
What is that?
Why are the deers foolish? Like
Calling out of love. Does your parent, your mom, does that sometimes call you're naughty, you're whatever it is like that, but
yeah.
then we call out of love,
Uh-huh.
like that, a foolish dear, right? Sometimes parents call you foolish kid, like that. It's not that they're really criticizing, they're just talking out of love. If it is a baby, if it's a children, but if the parent is telling you foolish son to a the grown-up one, that does have some meaning why they say that. That's a different topic. Now, like that, these gopis were saying that look at the devatas, the demigods, with their wives, and the wives are traveling as they were traveling, and then their eyes were on Krishna, especially when they hear the flute song of Krishna, and their hearts were captivated. And because of that, the flowers, from whatever the flowers they were wearing, it was just falling off from the sky. And whatever the dress that they were wearing, it was just becoming loosened by just hearing the flute song. And another gopi was saying, look at these cows and calves. The cows were, their ears were raised like a vessel, right? Like a vessel. Some, we see sometimes my ears are very small, like a rat. Whereas sometimes you see some kids, they have a really a wide, long, big ears, right? Have you seen that? I've seen some kids, their ears are really big, and then it's like a receiver, right? Receiver. That's exactly what this gopi is telling. Look at this upraised ears of the cows. It's like a vessel. They are holding all the sound that's coming from the flute out of Krishna's mouth. And as they were hearing, and the calves also full of tears. So then another gopi said, look at the birds sitting on the top of the trees like a sage. And then they are close their eyes in full trance, in full meditation, simply hearing the flute sound of Krishna's. Right? They were just enjoying, the birds were enjoying. They must be like a great sages. We've seen that yogis are sitting in some sort of pose, right? Like this, whatever, like this, however they sit. The birds were in a yogic pose, close their eyes, and then just simply hearing Krishna's flute sound. Now that all this were explained about the deer, peacock, and the birds, and cows and calves, then another gopi said that, what are you girls talking about? Look at the river. A river hearing Krishna's flute song, their mind are very attracted towards Krishna, and they are not going running in a proper way that they are supposed to. They broke the current, and they got agitated and running in all different direction, moving around a whirlpool, right? So another girl said that, look at the cloud are out of hearing Krishna's flute music, out of their love, they just drop so much water, cool water. So like this, each and every gopis were talking. And one gopi said, Govardhan Hill is the best. Govardhan Hill is the best, right? Govardhan Hill. Because why? It supplies all that needed to keep Krishna and Balaram happy. And all the cows and calves, they all wander around this Govardhan Hill. And how nice it is that Krishna plays his flute as he grazes his cows on top of Govardhan Hill. So like this, the gopis were talking and having nice conversation. And after some period, we are entering into the 22nd chapter now, which is a very beautiful chapter. We completed this Venu Gita. In 22nd chapter, it is said in the month of Margashirsa, right? Where the gopis, the unmarried girls, they all did a special vrita, an austerity for a month. Hmm? They worshipped Katyayani. Uh, 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 Mother Katyayani is none other than Mother Parvati, right? Lord Shiva's consort. So they worshipped, did a special puja for Katyayani. It's called Katyayani Vrata, which will come after after this 4 months. So they did this for 1 month. Very special Vrata. They followed certain strict procedures. They go to the Yamuna River, and then along, not just one, they go one door and they collect every gopis. They all go together. One gopi go to another gopi, wake her up. Another, the two go to the another third gopi and wake her up, and three goes to the fourth one, the four go to the fifth one. Like that, many gopis, they all get ready. They go to the river Yamuna, and they take bath there, and then they do a puja right there near the river. Katyayani Vrata, they follow. And many things they don't eat. They follow strictly. That's mean vrata. They are in following something very important. And this is what is nicely done in one of the Arvar called Andal. There are 12 Arvars, a great devotees of Vishnu, Narayana. One out of 12, there's only one female, and that is Andal. Andal sang a beautiful poem, and it has 30 prose, and it's all about this particular episode, this chapter that we are discussing. When she was just 5 years old, and her father was also a great devotee, Periyarvar. And right from her birth, she learned only about Krishna. She knows nothing other than Krishna. And even when she plays, it's all about Krishna only. That's all her toys and everything is all about Krishna. She's been brought up in such a way that her father only speak to her about Krishna, and she was also very nice. So she learned everything from her father, and she developed love for Krishna. That's Andal, also known as Koda, right? So when she heard that the gopis of Vrindavan, they did this Katyayani Vrata for 1 month and finally attained Krishna, especially wanting to attain Krishna, marry Krishna. Therefore, when Andal heard this one, she also wanted to marry Krishna. And then she did the same vrata. Only difference is the gopis were in Vrindavan in the northern side, Andal was living in southern side. But just through this process of hearing Bhagavatam, she also did this one. And when they did this one, she composed 330 beautiful songs, which is called Tirupavai. Tirupavai. So it's a nice, beautiful song. So anyway, that's just a side note about what's happening over here. So the gopis, as they were going, and they go to the river Yamuna and then take bath there and then do the puja. And they do this every single day. One day, as they were coming to the river bank and put their cloths on the side, and they went to
Krishna took them up on the chain.
so they, as usual, they put all their dress cloths on the side, and they went to the river to take bath, and they were happily bathing in the river. At that point of time, Krishna, who knows that this is what the gopis were doing, and he came there. And then what he did was he took all the clothes of the gopis, and then he tied go one sari on his arm, like around his arm here, one on his waist, one like a turban over here, one on the right side like this, another one on the left side like this. So he was just putting all the clothes around him, and then he climbed the tree, kadamba tree. He climbed over there, and then started laughing. When he laughs is so nice, right? I don't want to even imitate. I don't know. I can imitate like Kamsa and others, but I can't imitate Krishna. So he laughed loudly and then addressed the gopis. And gopis, as they heard the sound laughter of Krishna, they turned around and saw Krishna, and then they become little ashamed. They become little, embarrassed, that because girls were taking bath and Krishna was right over there, so they were not in a comfortable uh, position. And Krishna told them, all right, whenever you girls are done with your bathing, you can come over and then take your cloth. And then the girls were, what? Krishna, that is not fair, that is not nice to do that. Why are you doing this one? Just give the cloths back. We want the cloths back. And then Krishna said, No, sorry. I can certainly give you everything, your cloth back, but then you have to get up from the water. Right now, they are under the water, right? They just until their neck, it's all under the water. So they said, Krishna said, you have to come out of the water, come close to me, and then pick your dress. I have no problem with that. And the gopis became really upset and angry. And they said, Krishna, if you do not give our dress, our clothes, our saris, then we will go and complain to the king. We'll go and complain to our father. And Krishna laughed. Well, go for it. Go for it. Go and tell. Well, if you can go that far to tell to the king, you can just take few steps, come to me, and I'll give you the sari. Why you want to go all the way there, that too without sari? How are even you going to go there? It's not.
Babuji, who's the king?
It's Nanda Maharaj is the king over there of all the
And
gopas and
Yashoda
gopis.
is the queen.
Yeah, she's the queen. So anyway, and then you have a wonderful, nice haircut, Meher. Okay, all right. Now, the Krishna was further laughing and making fun of these girls. He said, "How can you even go over there and complain? It's not. You cannot do that one. You have to go. You're going to go without that, without bearing anything on your body. That's not very good to do so. How are you going to do?" So he said, "It's simple. You come over here, and then I will give you your dress." And the gopis were shivering from the painful cold, because during that month the water is really cold, and they could not do anything other than accepting Krishna's proposal. And they one by one covering their body with the hands, like however they can cover, and then just don't know how to walk. They were just walking, and with full of shy, and it was very difficult for them. They were just coming like one after another. And then Krishna said, another interesting thing that Krishna said is, well, do you all know that you have committed a big offense by taking bath in the river without wearing dress? That's the biggest offense to devatas. You should never take bath without wearing anything. That's very, very bad. It's a sinful thing, and you did that one. Therefore, you're doing so much vrata, austerity. At the same time, you did not wear dress, because this is very important. When you go to holy water, or any water for that matter, one cannot be naked. One should wear at least the bare minimum thing to cover the certain areas of the body, right? One cannot bath in the rivers without wearing some dress, like what we call here as swimming, shorts or pants or whatever you call, right? So one has to wear things and go. And not only that, that doesn't mean that when you're taking shower at home, one can be without dress. Even when you're taking shower at home, one should wear a bare minimum cloth and take shower. It's very important, right? So otherwise we are committing an offense to the water god, Varuna Devata. That is not good. Therefore, Krishna said, the only way that your sin that you committed can be rectified, nullified, is by you raising your hand above your head and then asking for forgiveness to the Devatas. Remember, they were covering their body with their hands, right? Right? And Krishna is telling, take your hands off, put your hands above your head, and pray to the Devatas. And then the gopis were thinking, oh my God. Anyway, we are out of the water now. We are off exposed. Oh, now that we committed a big offense, so let's do that. So they all put their hands above their head and seek for forgiveness. And then Krishna became very happy.
Babuji,
One second. Yeah, Diksha, go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
as you said that, like, if we don't like bath without anything, it's not good. It's a sin. So, but I actually don't do that. But I just take off my shirt and pants. That's it.
Yeah. So your mom will understand what I mean. You can wear your undergarment and then take shower. Okay, that's what it means. Okay.
What if they get wet?
Yeah, it will certainly get wet, and then after you take shower, you wash that and then dry it or put it in the washer.
That's the only thing that's why I don't do it, because I have to put it in the washer and it's already wet.
All right, you can work out the details. Your mom and dad can help you to follow this simple thing, but if you can do that, it is really good. Okay, you should try to do that. You should never be naked when you're taking shower. That's not Vedic, and that is create sins. So let's avoid those things. Okay, so where are we now? Yes, here. Now the gopis, one after another, they came in front of Krishna, and Krishna said that I know very well that you all doing this Katyayana Vrata so that you can attain me as your husband. And I'm very pleased by your devotion. Therefore, you can take your cloth and go. And then, as they said, the girls become very happy. They, when Krishna did these things, they don't get angry actually. Right? Sometimes when you're, when you have your brother, young brothers, small brother, or we have Mahati here, Mahati, and we have Sarvari, we had Bhavya. So you kids have, and also Diksha. You have siblings, right? Right. So Mahati, when your brother Krishna does something naughty or pull something from your table things, you do get angry, but you don't get really mad at him, right? You don't go and do a police complaint that my brother took away my pencil box. Do you do that? Or do you don't do such things, right?
No, Prabhuji.
Oh, very good, very good. Oh, you're a very good artist. Is that your brother who did an art on that wall in the behind? He's putting some nice art, what looks like on the left or your right side behind.
I
Anyway,
think so. That's supposed to be tally.
all right, okay, that's okay. So now the Krishna said, I am very pleased, therefore please take your garments and your prayers of Katyayana Vrata will be fulfilled. And then the gopis were happy and they just left. And Krishna, as it was getting very hot later, and the Krishna went under a tree and he was just sitting over there and he was calling out his friends. Hey Stoka Krishna, hey Hamsa, Sridhama, Subhala, Arjuna, Vishala, Rishabhanu, Ojasvi, Devaprashta, Varutapa. These are all Krishna's friends' names, right? He's calling out these friends' name, and Krishna is saying that, look at this great fortunate tree, how beautiful they are. They are helping and benefiting others, right? You see the trees are always helping others, even though the trees stand under the hot sun. Sometimes it is heavy wind, sometimes it snows, sometimes it heavily rains, sometimes it's very hot. But the tree never complains. Tree never complains, but then rather it tries to help others. It gives cool, nice shade to others. So it tolerates all different things, right? This is something that we can learn from the tree, like how tree tolerate the situations. Sometimes when we come into some things in our life, we should also try to learn to tolerate, right? Have you learned to tolerate, Diksha? Have you tolerated any situation?
Prabhuji, I don't know what tolerate like.
Tolerate mean bearing certain pains mentally or physically. that you're going through? Have you had any, have you felt hunger? Are you, at any time you felt hunger, do you start crying and asking your mother and that, I want curd rice, I want a pizza, I want this one right away, when are you going to give me, when are you going to give me? Do you keep asking these things to your mother or father when they are already cooking something for you?
Sometimes I do, Prabhuji, but when they say that they're still cooking, I kind of like stop.
Okay, that's very good. That's very good. So that means you're tolerating your hunger, correct? You're tolerating hunger. Very good. What about who's present here? Akshara, what about you? Do you tolerate, have you tolerated anything?
Tolerate means if something happens, are you able to withstand, Akshara?
If I see something I really like, sometimes if I don't really feel like having it, but really want to have it at that moment, I stop.
That's really nice. Thank you. Sarvari, what about you?
I'm not sure, Prabhuji, but sometimes when my mom asks, like, well, should I make anything like for dinner that you want? And sometimes I might tell her this. And if she tells me she can't make it because of something or she has something else to do, then I tolerate and say, it's okay, you can make whatever you can make. And I let somebody else choose or just whatever my mom says is easier.
Very nice. So therefore, we have to learn things like this. We have to try to learn how we can tolerate the urges of our mind, the demands of our body. The body may be demanding so many things, but all we can do is, tolerate. We have to learn to tolerate. We can't do anything sometimes, right? So, like you said, Sarvari, withstanding our demands, right? There could be situation where we uh, you want to, it is very hot. What do you do at that time? You start sitting and crying. Oh, it's very hot. It's very hot. Are you going to start crying that it's hot? What do you do? Anyone? What do you do when it's really hot?
Prabhuji, I actually sometimes when I'm outside,
Yeah,
I actually
your camera is not on. You want to turn on your camera? Can
yes,
see you?
yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, go ahead.
So it's like sometimes when I'm hot, I run back to my home, or else when I'm out somewhere, I go in the car, or I actually find a tree and then sit under it.
Okay, so that is what tolerating means. You don't start crying because it's summer. You tolerate that situation by doing something alternate solution. Likewise, winter also, right? So that's what Krishna is saying, how glorious these trees were, right? So this is something very important, like how Krishna is appreciating the nature. Likewise, we should also spend some time to appreciate what we have around us, right? We don't even appreciate what we have around us. There are so many things that we can appreciate in our life for what God has given. Rather appreciating with what we have, and we do what? Who wants to say? Bhavya. Rather appreciating with what we have and be thankful, what we usually do.
Prabhuji, could you repeat the question again?
What is that?
Could you repeat the question again?
Okay, I was saying that we have so many things around us in our disposal. We have many things we can be happy with. But rather than being happy with what we already have, what we tend to do?
We have to offer it to Krishna.
No, that's not my question. I think you're not able to hear me properly. Anyone else?
Prabhuji,
Yeah,
I think I know.
yeah, go ahead, Sarvari.
We complain about what we don't have or what we think is missing.
There you go. There you go. So that's true. Whatever you're telling is very true. So if I have something, I'm not happy with what I have, and then I complain about what I don't have, or I start comparing with what I have with what I don't have. Correct? I compare, I complain, I criticize because of that. So therefore, these are the things we have to avoid in our life. We should try to learn how happy we can be. Because why? The reason is that if we are not happy with what we have now, believe it or not, when we have things that what we don't have and what we wanted, when we have that, still we won't be happy. Yes or no? I have something now, and I feel that I don't have the other thing, which I feel that if I have that one, I'll be happy. But if I have the other thing, which I think that will make me happy when I have that one, guess what? I'm still not happy because I'm looking for something else better than that. Yes? So that's a trick of our mind, always looking for things like this. Therefore, we have to try to learn to be happy with what we have. But one thing is very important. Please make note of this one, Sarvari and all the kids here. Very, very important lesson that we all have to learn is we should never be happy in one sense, in one situation, and we should be happy in another situation. And that is, we should be happy in our life, see and satisfied in our life, seeing people who are materially lower than us. There are so many people who don't have homes. There are so many people who don't have cars. There are so many people doesn't have even cell phone. There are so many people doesn't have proper food to eat, right? For us, by a simple walk, we just pop in so many things into our mouth. We walk that side, we see chips. We walk this side, we see cookies. We go there, we see some juice. We keep on, we are having everything in our disposal, right? So we should be happy by seeing people who are lower in standard than us. Therefore, we should be happy with what we have. But we should never be satisfied. We should never be happy when we see people who are more knowledgeable in their studies than us. Not that I'm saying we should become envious of them, but we should not be satisfied with our knowledge. Meaning, I should not think that I studied till third grade, that I'm very satisfied. I think I'm done with all my schools now. I'm done. Mom, I
Just part of the first year. Then comes middle school,
I know,
and
I
high
know.
school, and then
So which grade,
college.
Meher, which grade are you now going
I'm
into?
going into fourth grade now. On
Which grade?
23rd.
Which
I'm
grade?
going into fourth grade on 23rd.
So you're going to tell your mom and you're going to tell your mom and dad that mom, I graduated from my third grade. I think I'm done. I'm just
No, I am
I'm done.
actually excited for fourth grade because I'm going in person. Prabhuji,
Yes, Rukmini.
I graduated from first grade and now I need to go to second.
What an achievement you kids have done. You have graduated from first grade.
I have graduated from K5 to first grade.
Which well, from the kindergarten to first grade, you got graduated. That's a challenging one. That's not an easy graduation at all. You went through a tough time and you really did it very great, really good. Graduating from kindergarten to first grade is not an easy task, I can tell you. Okay. Okay. Like that, you all have done a great job of graduating from one grade to another grade, but you're still not satisfied. You want to go to the next grade, right? So that means we should never be satisfied. We should never be satisfied when it comes to knowledge. We want to acquire knowledge, especially knowledge about Krishna. We should try to learn more. Hmm? So those are the things that we learn as we go through. So these trees fulfill one's desire. Krishna is just talking about how that is still continuing on the tree. Huh? And then the cowherd boys were all drinking the cool water close by from the rivers of Yamuna, and they were satisfied. And the chapter 22 ends there. And chapter 23 is another beautiful pastime story where it is the wives of Brahmanas are being blessed. Okay, so we'll see that now. And any questions or anything to share at this point?
Prabhuji, I have a question.
Yes,
So are we going to see that story today?
depends on how many questions we have. If we have no questions,
Prabhuji, we have a question in chat. It is from Jeron.
okay, you want to read it out, Mayor?
Sure. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. At the beginning of today's session, you mentioned how beautifully many of Gita songs are in Bhagavatam. You also mentioned the skill of professional reciters of the Gitas. Can you please provide a website or other reference where we can listen to these Gitas? Thank you.
I'll try to find and I'll share. Okay, thank you. Okay, any other questions? Okay, if there's no questions, let's move on to chapter 23.
Hi Krishna Guruji, I just have
Chapters are
one
there,
question.
no?
Priya Mataji, go ahead.
I just have one small question. So you mentioned that, like we know that in the 10th canto we learned that the Braja Gopis did this Katyayani Brata to get like Krishna as their husband. I just out of curiosity I'm asking, like in our Gaudiya Brahma Madhav Sampradaya, is there any reference that the general devotees can also do this Katyayani Brata to please Lord Krishna?
There is nothing as detailed mentioned about as a practice that we do that one, because the mood is quite different, and the idea is different, and it's therefore I don't see anyone practicing those brata.
Prabhuji,
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah.
is there how many chapters are there?
What is it, Meher?
I just want a small question. And how many chapters are there in Bhagavad Gita?
Bhagavad Gita?
Yeah.
18 chapters.
Then how come we're on 23rd?
How come what?
How come we're doing the 23rd chapter if there are only 18 chapters?
Yeah, but then we are not doing Bhagavad Gita, right, Meher? We are.
Oh yeah, we're doing.
Bhagavatam.
Yeah, we are doing Bhagavatam, correct, Meher?
It's like kind of confusing for me, like which one is which.
On Saturday at this time, we are only doing Bhagavatam. Very simple.
Okay.
All right.
Srimad Bhagavatam.
Srimad Bhagavatam. That's it. Okay. If there is no other discussion questions, we can move on.
No other questions.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now here comes Gopa, Sri Gopa Uvacha. Rama Rama Mahabaho Krishna Dushta Nibarhana Isha Vai Badate Shunnas Tat Shantim Kartum Arhataha. So the boys, while they were in the close by vicinity of in the forest, to the hermitage of the rishis, the brahmanas who are doing pujas and yagyas, those boys were telling Rama, Rama, Krishna, Krishna, we are really hungry. We are really hungry. Can you do something? We are very hungry. Right, just now we saw that if you're hungrier, you have things you have to tolerate, whereas here we see totally a different situation, right? It's all wonderful pastime here. So the boys came and said to Krishna, we are very hungry, can you please do something? And Krishna said that, my dear boys, don't worry, even I am hungry, Balaram Bhaiya is also hungry, so do something. Let me tell you something. Close by there are brahmanas who are doing their yagyas, rituals. So go to them and then tell them that Krishna and Balaram are hungry and they need something to eat. And the boy said, well, we will do that. We'll really need something to eat. So these boys very happily ran. As Krishna said, they immediately ran in front of and went in front of the Brahmanas with folded hands. They paid their pranam to them like this, like this. That is a way that we have to do always. When anyone comes to your house, right? Especially the in the older people, when they older means not old people, like your neighbors, your friends, father, parents, your friends, your parents' friends, or your friends' parents. When anyone come, what do you say to them? Hi. Or sometimes we don't even look at them. We don't even say hi to them. But this is what we learn from here, that whenever you see someone, we have to fold our two palms like this. Everyone do this like this together, and then tell Hare Krishna, or you can say Namaste, right? Like that you say Namaste, Hare Krishna, like that you have to tell them. It's very important we do that one, right? So I still know some kids who are really grown. They still, when they see the elders, they touch even the feet of the elders and take their blessings. That tradition is still there. And even here, I know some children, kids, they do that. Even though they are grown, they are in their profession, they still do those. They have good qualities like this, right? Not that whose blessing becomes God, but God is pleased when they see such behaviors towards elders. That's the important point. You get the point? Therefore, you have to do such things, that at least doing Namaste Hare Krishna to elders whenever you see them. Okay? So these boys went there and they said to the Brahmana sitting over there, and then told them that Krishna and Balaram are very hungry. Could you please give something for them to eat? We'll pack and go. And the Brahmana said, oh, I'm very sorry, I don't have a to-go box. I don't have a Ziploc to pack and give, right?
No, by the time they were not even Ziplocs. This is like a long time ago around.
Oh,
You're
are
just
Wrong book, Prabhuji.
wrong book. You're mixing the future centuries and the old centuries.
Yeah, I did. Sorry for mixing up things. So they said they literally got little upset. They really got little angry. Don't you see that we are doing yagya? While doing yagya, they have to be very, very, properly following each and every procedure. They have to chant the right mantra. They have to do the oblation of whatever they have to do in the fire, and all those things should happen. And someone is coming and telling, someone is hungry and I need to pack something for you. So please don't disturb us. We are doing our yagya. And then they continue chanting their mantras. And the boys, with their heads down, disappointed, they went back to Krishna and they reported back to Krishna. When they reported back to Krishna, Krishna was just laughing. He was just, Krishna, for everything he laughs, right? You go and tell him some good news, he laughs. You go and tell him some sad news, he laughs. For everything he laughs.
You go and tell him some neutral news, he laughs.
Exactly, he laughs for everything. And that's something that we.
Prabhuji,
Yes, Rukmini.
sometimes Krishna doesn't laugh, but he smiles.
He's,
Once an enemy says bad things to Krishna, he smiles or laughs, and he smiles or laughs for everything.
yeah, very true, very true. So we should also learn things like that, right? Sometimes for everything, children cry. For everything they cry, right?
Yeah, and actually the laughing is like, ha, I don't care about that.
Right. So we should try to learn not to cry for everything. If there is a serious reason, then we cry. if you have fallen down from a staircase, you got hurt or something, is your pain is not bearable, then you cry. But otherwise, there's no reason for one to cry. Right? But Krishna, whatever the reason may be, he just smiles, he just laughs. So therefore, laughing is a medicine. So can you all laugh loudly? Unmute, unmute, unmute. We can hear you laughing now. Can you all unmute? All the children, please unmute and laugh, louder. Unmute. Everyone together. Everyone.
But it's so funnily.
Yeah. That is like that's like a peacock or a hen. Wait, hold on. Bhavya, Gauranj, Sarvari, you're all muted. Everyone should unmute now. Please, all the kids should unmute now. Ready? Everyone unmuted? Yes? And then go ahead and laugh louder. Happy. Laugh. Did everyone laugh? Okay, now hold on. Thank you. That's very good. All right. Oh, Richisa is also here. Very good. So you see, when you laughed, how you felt? How do you feel when you laugh? Happy. You felt so happy, right? You felt so happy, right? So when you cry, do you feel happy?
No.
It is not happy for you, and it is not happy for people around you also, right? So try to laugh, try to smile, right? Give some time to smile. Even if you feel awkward, go to a room, close your room and start laughing, right? For no reason, right? You will feel energized. You will feel happy about it. Right? So maybe we should ask all the adults to do that one, keeping the video on, but I'm sure they won't do it, right? You kids are very obedient. You will all do it. Yes? But the bigger kids will not listen. Right. Okay, I don't want to make fun of it now. So likewise, Krishna smiled and laughed nicely, and he said, well, that means what? It was expected that you're not going to get anything out of it. All right, Krishna. So what to do now? We are hungry. Our tummy is crumbling. It's just we cannot bear any further. Looks like we will faint out of hunger. So Krishna, do something. Well, go back again to the Brahmanas. Again, we just came back from there. Those Brahmanas are not going to give anything. Well, this time, don't go to the Brahmanas, but go to the wives of Brahmana and then ask for food. That tell them that Krishna and Balaram are hungry. And then these boys said, okay, we will do it as you said. And these boys went back, bypassing the Brahmanas who are still continuing to do the puja, right? The puja was still continuing, the yajna. So they went around the Brahmanas, and the women, the ladies of the Brahmana, the wives of the Brahmanas were there. They were very nicely dressed and very, very pleasing to see, very clean. The house was very clean, right? This is very important to, this is a quality of a Brahmana. Brahmana quality means not just you be born in a Brahmin family to follow certain things, not like that. The Brahmanical qualities are very important, whether you are born as a Brahmana or not born as a Brahmana. To keep the house clean, cleanliness is very important and next to godliness, right? If the house is not kept clean, whatever we try to learn, whatever we try to do in our life is not going to be of use. Therefore, keep the house clean. Keep your rooms clean. Children, you have to keep your rooms clean. Never let anything down on the floor, right? You have to pick it and place it back wherever it has to go. These are very important behavior that you should learn, right? Therefore, when the boys went to their the wives of Brahmana, they were happy to see Krishna and said, "What made you all to come here?" And the boys said that, "Mother, Mother, Krishna and Balaram are hungry. They're very hungry." As soon as the wives heard this one, Krishna and Balaram are hungry, they just got up immediately and they said, "Where are they? Where are they?" "Well, they are over there." "Well, we will pack everything and come." "Oh, you just give us some food?" "What giving? We will pack and come and personally give to Krishna and Balaram." And they started packing whatever they cooked, not even leaving little bit for their husbands, children, or wives. What we would do is we make sure we preserve everything for us, all the special items, and whatever the leftover things, whatever we don't like, we pack it and give it to someone, right? What these gopis, what these wives of Brahmana did, they didn't leave anything for their family members. They packed everything. They took the pot, the whole cooking pot, whatever they had. Because as Meher said, those days there were no Ziploc, there were no to-go boxes, none of those none of those were available, right? They were having a very, what to say, what the echo, not the echo, what is it? Green, a green lifestyle. So they took everything and went to Krishna. And Krishna was so happy to see them. And while they were going, the husbands were telling, "Don't go, I'm doing the puja, I need your help, you have to stay back. I need some articles, I need this one, I need kumkum, I need sandalwood paste. You have to be here to assist me in my puja." And the wives did not hear anything. And the children were asking, "Mom, where are you going? I need some curd rice. Don't take everything and go. Keep something for me." And then they didn't bother their children screaming and crying. They just left. Even the old parents were there. Their mother-in-law, father-in-law, and other parents, they were all there. They didn't just worry. They were said, "Stop, stop, stop. Where are you going? You can't go out of the house like this. The married ladies should not go like this." That said, hell with it. And they just left the house and just went to Krishna. And Krishna, when Krishna saw these wives of Brahmanas, he became very happy and they fed Krishna and Krishna ate very happily. And then Krishna said, "Well, you have to return back home." And they said, "We are not going to go back." "What? You're not going to go back?" "Yeah, you are our shelter. But your husband is there." "Well, you are our real husband." "What about those husbands? They are going to be gone one day and finished. But you are our true husband." "Well, what about your father and mother?" "You are our father and mother." What about your children?" "You are our children. You are our children." "What about your relatives?" "Hell with the relatives. You are my bandhu. You are my Saka. You are my Mata. You are my Pita. You are everything for me, Krishna." "And why? What about your house?" "Well, you are my shelter. I don't need a house." They rejected everything. They just simply rejected everything. They said, "We are not going back home. We have come, left the home. We will be with you, Krishna." And Krishna said, I'm very, very moved, touched by your devotion and your love for me. I accept you all, but you all return back home, and I assure you, your father-in-law, mother-in-law will not get upset. Your husband will not get upset. They will accept you. Go back. As you are serving your family, keep meditating upon me. In that way, you will all come back to me when your duties of your household is completed. And the wives of Brahmana accept this nice instruction and fell at the feet of Krishna and Balaram, and they returned back home. There's a very important message here, that as we are engaged in our worldly activities with our family, with our children, with our job, whatever we are doing, we should always remember Krishna. Never forget Krishna. As you're studying, like Bhavya was asking last time, as you're a student, you're studying, keep Krishna as your focus center and you study. Whatever you do, we meditate, we contemplate on Krishna. And when we do that, whatever action we are doing becomes spiritualized. It is no more material, it becomes spiritualized. This is a beautiful story, this story. And we see how these wives of Brahmana were ready to completely surrender to Krishna, and how Krishna reciprocated to the wives of Brahmana. With that said, we will stop here and open up for any questions or discussion for next 2-3 minutes. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji,
Yes, Rukmini.
what is the homework?
Homework is, do you have to get back? What about the previous week homework? Did you all complete? Do you all remember?
I mean, the wife homework, it was like, I forgot.
Yeah, who remembers?
Prabhuji, I forgot to.
Very good. This is also the same thing that we discussed. The previous homework was where the wives of Kalia, remember? Now we are talking about wives of Brahmanas. Brahmanas, right? So one thing we can learn from here is the women, the girls, ladies are much more soft-hearted than men. That's what we can learn from these two episodes.
True.
Prabhuji, what is the homework?
Okay, so the homework, at least for now, it's all related homework from what we saw last time also. But don't forget again, the homework is how many times you remembered Krishna when you're doing certain things. And you have to tell me what activities you performed, how you remembered Krishna at that time. Okay? So
Okay, looks like my homework's already done.
yeah, this week assignment is how you remembered Krishna every day, even though
Yeah,
you're
I remember Krishna every day.
yeah,
every day.
you can tell next week, as we are running out of time here, have to stop at 12 o'clock. So
And I even have a match at 1 o'clock.
See, I have a comment. I like the whole class.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
hold on.
Bye.
Let's hand it over back to Ashok Prabhu and he will close it as our tradition.
Prabhuji, I have a comment. I like
Hold on. That will all be done by Ashok Prabhu, not me. You can move.
Krishna Prabhu.
Because
What is this?
these are comments. Okay, all right.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Bye.
Okay, all right.
Prabhuji,
Did
did
you
you
like
know
the
I
class?
have a match at 1 o'clock?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, so we'll allot some time for the homework, because you ask for the homework every week, but then we don't have the time to really hear you. So it's our fault too. So next time we'll dedicate about 10 to 15 minutes at the end to go over the homework. How's that?
Prabhuji, did you know that I have a match today and I'm playing against a team?
Oh wow, you're playing soccer?
Yeah, I play soccer.
Wonderful. Very
It's
nice.
fire ants, which I'm on, versus spiders.
Good, excellent.
We will
Remember,
all sit with you. Let's hear,
remember Krishna.
yeah, let's hear from Rukmini and Diksha as
Bye,
closing
Prabhuji.
about the comment.
Bye.
Bye.
Prabhuji, I like the whole class.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.